Welcome to Mobile Armor Radio, the podcast for all things Mecha. Jumpship incoming.
All right. Welcome to Mobile Armor Radio, episode number 52. I have since forgotten what this means in seasons and episodes, so Rob wins.
Aha! I win. Your laziness to look it up.
Until next month when I will actually do the work, and then I will bring it back in round 2 of the battle.
Because is it 48 would have been the beginning of
4 years, so 4 episode 12.
No, it'd be the beginning of 5, wouldn't it?
It would be the beginning of 5.
So it's 5 episode or season 5 episode 4?
I think so. Yes.
Yeah.
It's a lot. That was too much for me.
Math is hard.
Even after I conceded. So here we are into next month, which is October. Hey, happy Halloween!
Yes.
Yep. It's the end of this month is Halloween. That's true.
Enjoy your Reese's pumpkin candies.
You
Pumpkin shaped candies, I should say, because I don't think Reese's makes a pumpkin candy.
No, that's all right then. If
Though I would,
shaped, I'll eat
though I wouldn't put it past some of these candy companies to make a stupid pumpkin flavored peanut butter.
Pumpkin spice.
I am saying, I would say that I am glad that Reese's just has the pumpkin shaped one. I don't know if I could handle a pumpkin spice one. It's just not my thing.
Pumpkin spice is definitely not my thing. Not even the coffee.
The coffee.
I blame Starbucks, really, because this pumpkin spice thing didn't really blow out of proportion until Starbucks brought that coffee into existence.
You have to say it like coffee talk.
Yeah, it's coffee.
His pinky's up.
You're just filling time now, aren't you?
Yeah.
Just so the beginning's not short.
Yeah, exactly. This is not a Brian hosted
This
show.
is not a Brian episode.
This is quality. This is where people get to know us personally.
Pat doesn't like pumpkin spice.
We're just not robots. Got it? We are people with feelings, likes, and dislikes. Like pumpkin spice. We all hate it.
So you say that, but I'm looking at our Skype icons, and Rob has a Zaku, helmet. Well,
he's got the one of the original mobile armor icons that we use.
And then I got the Mega Man one, so maybe we are robots, Pat.
Yeah.
So
you don't know. You've never met us in real life. Oh wait.
Well then. Since you guys are robots, let's continue with your programming and let's move on to the Dropship.
Dropship landing.
Welcome to the Dropship, guys, and let's talk about what we are working on. I'm going to break format. I'm going to start with myself.
Yes.
It's all about him.
Yeah, I mean, as you may not know, we have all gotten some of us may have splurged a little and gotten some new 3D printers. So we've been on a printing run, and I've been printing together this spaceship that I kickstarted maybe 2 years ago. That was too big for my resin printer, and I didn't want to do an FDM version of it because that just would have been ridiculously a long time. But now I have a resin printer that we can print the biggest of all the parts, so now I'm working on putting that together. And I will have that ship printed for the first time in I don't know how long. Still painting up the Scorpion and Grav Tank from our good friend, long-time listener, John Bear Ross. I should post some progress pictures. I don't know why I haven't. Maybe because when I go downstairs, I forget to bring my phone, and then no pictures are taken when my phone's upstairs. Anything else I've been working on? Painting a Han Solo blaster, but that's neither here nor there.
Have you worked on your Zhong?
No, I have not. I need to. I mean, it's as you can tell, it takes up a bulk of the living room or the basement, with just sprues scattered everywhere. But yeah, I think after this weekend, I'm going to start working on it again some more. But, we got some really good STLs for printing, and I went on a big run of printing, and now I got all this resin models sitting around. me painted like King Arthur. I got a couple dragons, Moon Knight. That
from Marvel.
Yeah. Well, I guess we'll call him Moon Paladin.
Moon Paladin.
Is that official?
But those all, what's the word? Didn't knock the Zhang out of the place, but it just kind of put rose-colored glasses on my eyes for
just kind of swarmed over the top.
Yeah, I was like, "Oh, this is pretty. Let's play with this now." And so, but I need to get that finished. I mean, as Rob saw last time we talked about last month, he saw how big it is, and looking at the instructions earlier this week, I've gotten through most of the biggest parts. So, with the exception of the legs, which are these long tubes, which thank God they're just these long tubes and they're not articulated knees.
That'd be rough.
But yeah, so I should just crank it out because it does take me so long because I'm so doing this in the hardest way possible with airbrushing every piece.
Yeah.
And still working on some ignition core. Again, I can't touch those mechs till I finish those troops. So we're getting close. At least the Oni troops are almost done. I got to do some kind of touch-ups. Got to work on the belts, the browns, and stuff like that. But their main colors are in and on. So I still doing a lot downstairs, which is great.
It's unusual for you to have this much on.
Yeah.
Right.
Brian, what have you been working on?
The big thing had been we've got the Michigan GT coming up literally the weekend of this recording. And then the day the episode airs, actually, we'll be at the Michigan GT. And so I've been painting a whole lot of terrain up to kind of be ready for Dead Zone and Firefight. So it was, I basically kind of took two routes with it, is that mostly 3D printed stuff, because I had a big set of already like Mantic terrain. But then I did the Corvus gaming terrain, had the Tycho starport sets, which were the ones that were like the full square buildings, and you just add the roof to them. I think I've talked about them in the past. I've printed off a whole mess of those, and so I've been painting them up to kind of match a specific style that I had been going forward with. And I finally have, to my satisfaction, like a full Dead Zone board worth of it, all painted up in a similar style. So that's been a long process. Usually, like it would take me like to do two buildings. It would take almost like an hour, and I think all told there's maybe a dozen or so buildings. We like our boards very full. And so, and then I also had some terrain from last year's Michigan GT. A good friend of ours, Uke, from the Griffin's Rest, had made some MDF terrain that he was selling at the GT that year. And I got a whole bunch of it. And I decided I was going to paint that up as well, but in a more time-efficient process, which was basically I wanted to go for a cyberpunk feel. And so I did a combo of like a dark blue kind of base coat with spray paint. And then I would just hit it with kind of from a high angle with some like light or like neon turquoise, like teal. And I am really happy with how it turned out because it came with like green acrylics for like little force fields on things.
That's cool.
And it looks really sweet. I'm really happy with how it came out. And then I supplemented it with some scattered terrain that was all 3D printed stuff that I did the same style on. So now I have a kind of cyberpunk board. I've got like a space, city kind of board. And then I've got like a Mantic urban industrial kind of board going for me. So it's been fun to kind of get that project taken care of. Because my brain's been going on all sorts of other projects that I wanted to start, and at some point I will get to. But that has been the majority of my especially my hobby time has been going to that. So how about you, Rob? What have you got on the plate?
Once again, I'm also printing stuff. I joined a Patreon called The Extra Guy, and he's doing a lot of cool, original. I think I talked about him last month. He did a lot of cyberpunk stuff, but this month he did Votoms and Dougram models in both MechWare, Battletech scale and larger scale, so you could do either, and they're very cool. So I printed up the smaller versions. I'm going to print up the other ones later, and for next month, the October, he's doing Pat Labor, so that's going to be fun. So
nice!
I can't wait to print out those. So it's kind of fun to have those. You can make them smaller in Battletech scale, which is kind of fun. Yeah, so that's pretty much what I'm doing. I printed those up. I have not painted anything. I try not to paint. It's just, it just never happens. Eventually, I will get things primed. I said at the beginning of the summer I was going to get stuff primed, and now it's fall, and I should get stuff
right.
primed. But eventually I'll do it. I swear. I have so much stuff to paint. I'm a printer, not a painter. I've come to realize. But that's about it. I just printing up mechs. Anytime I find a mech online, I kind of print them. I have a huge collection of just random mechs on my shelf now. So there you go. One day I'll have all the time in the world not to paint them. So that's about it for me.
All right. Well, let's move on then to the ComStar, where I've done nothing because I've done a lot of hobby.
See, you're always the other way.
Message from ComStar.
I'm Brian.
And I'm Rick.
From Dead Zone the Podcast.
And you're listening to
Mobile Armor Radio.
All right, welcome to the ComStar. So this is where we talk about some news, some TVs, any of the books or video games or RPGs we've done. For the sake of time, I'm just going to say I did hardly anything. I don't even think I even finished Pacific Rim Black.
Still?
Oh my God, I know.
It's like 5 episodes.
I know. I have 2 more to go, and I just don't make it back there, and I don't know why. Because I'm downstairs. Maybe I should get a TV that works downstairs.
You have your internet. You have 2 monitors too. You just put it on one of the monitors. That's what I do.
Yeah.
That sounds like a lot of work.
Actually, I don't have 2 monitors. Not downstairs.
Oh, that's upstairs. Yeah, that's upstairs.
Yeah, upstairs. I'm all whatever that movie with John Travolta and
you got 3 monitors.
Hugh Jackman was.
Swordfish.
Yeah, I'm all swordfished upstairs, but downstairs I'm.
Of all things to compare it to, not the Matrix.
I'm all swordfished upstairs, but downstairs I'm all freaking war games with a telephone modem and everything.
So nice. When you're working on that computer, are you jumping and standing on the chair like he used to?
Yeah, and then Halle Berry comes in naked. So
awkward.
That's not too bad.
So Rob, what have you got for ComStar? I know you always have some news too.
Yeah, lots of Kickstarters going on actually, and other various things. Impact Miniatures, which we know as the guys who do Redline and also did Whisper back in the day. Mm-hmm. They have a Kickstarter out right now, which is doing physical models to buy, as well as STLs for their all their Whisper mechs, I think, are STLs available. But you can also get all the Redline mechs from it too, which is fun. And
that's cool.
Yep, the link will be in the show notes. But I love the Whisper mechs. Back in the day, I found them. They're kind of almost like powered armor kind of more, but they're very cool. They're kind of like tags from Infinity.
Yeah,
they have that kind of feel. But I really like them, so I'm happy to do this, and I've backed it. I think it's pretty cheap too for all the. You don't get the Redline STLs, but for all the Whisper STLs, it's for like $25, so it's super cheap. So I'm going to get all those to print, which is just fun. I probably already have most of them, but I think there's new ones too, also in there. But also Pacific Rim Extinction, we mentioned before. It's they put out all the STLs for that. It's now on MyMiniFactory, so you can buy individual mechs. Before it was just in the in the waves. You could buy the big packs, which were like $100 each. Now you could buy each individual Pacific Rim mini to print from MyMiniFactory pretty cheap. So that's something you might want to do. And
how much are they?
I think they're $15 each.
For just the STL?
Yeah. It's because you got to pay the license too, right? So.
Oh, yeah. They're also very big models.
Yeah. They're nice, yeah. They're like, I think the actual minis to buy them were like $50 each, so it's because they were pre-painted, so that's not right, bad deal. Also, a person we've talked about lots of times before, RattapoomK has put out some more of his mechs to buy for STLs. So we're slowly becoming all about 3D printing just because that's what we're into. But he's got a lot of cool mechs for that. Yeah. His stuff's really cool.
Maybe this is another topic, so we'll talk about afterwards. But continue.
Other than that,
but I don't want to start and then give away the topic.
Yeah. Sorry. You have to keep people hanging on. So.
Well, so one of us can use it in the future.
Like the song. Just keep me hanging on. All right. Go ahead.
I've also been watching Cyberpunk Edge Runners on Netflix. It's pretty fun. It's super violent, and it's like it's fun seeing all the places you go to in the video game because it's based in the same world as 27/7. And it's like, oh, I recognize that place. I've played through there. Like, it's pretty fun.
Is it a cartoon, like the computer-based cartoon?
No, it's anime.
It's 2D style. Yeah. It's Studio Trigger.
Yeah.
The same people that did like Darling in the Franxx show previously mentioned. I'm trying to remember some of the other things. Kill la Kill. They're basically a lot of the old guard from Gainax. When that company kind of imploded, some guys went off and did the Evangelion movies, and the other guys went off and did former Studio Trigger, and so really dynamic. Same guys that did like Gurren Lagann. Okay. If you're familiar with that show, same kind of like high energy, high octane, just way more violent.
Yeah, very violent. But it really lets you feel like you're living in Night City. That's for sure. Watching that show. But the game is coming out with an expansion soon, and they say that right now it's the #1 game on Steam. There's huge resurgence for 2017. So. Cool. I think the show helped with that too. So.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if we talked about it last time, but Gundam Witch from Mercury had a prologue episode. Did we talk about that last?
I don't know if we talked about it.
I don't think we did. I think it came out just
I don't think we did either. Because
I think it came out like right after we recorded, I think.
And speaking of brutal, it's pretty brutal too. For a Gundam, it's like, oh my god. Like it's pretty extreme what they have to do to get those mechs to work. But I don't
think I actually watched it. Maybe I need to check this link out.
Yeah, you should watch it. It's good. I actually watched it like 2 days ago.
Yeah, it's only like 20 minutes or whatever, like a normal episode, but it's
up on YouTube on Gundam Info.
Yeah. Full of action and some political intrigue, looks like, and it looks fun. And I'm curious how I assume the show is going to jump into the future a bit, because it kind of focused on a little girl. I assume she's going to grow up, but maybe not.
Yeah.
Maybe it's going to be her as a little kid, but I'm not sure.
Well, she's like, it's not a big plot point, but she's turning 4.
Yeah.
During the episode, so.
Yeah, it's her birthday, so yeah.
It's her birthday.
It's really fun. I can't wait to see more of it, and it's got to be coming out soon, I think. It's, I think it was October they were saying, so. Yeah. And I think that's about it for me for stuff. Yeah. I haven't done anything else, I don't think.
It will come, the first episode is supposed to come out the day after this episode airs.
No, perfect. Perfect timing. We'll have to watch it and enjoy it. I wonder if it's going to be all at once, or is it going to be single episodes, like weekly?
That is a good question.
Who knows anymore in this world of streamingness?
It's true.
Yeah, some continue to do the Netflix route where it's you dump all of it at once. And then there's, Disney proved the method of, you know what, we can just keep doing it the same way we always did.
Yeah.
And
Get
release
people to stay around.
an episode. Yeah. Get them to hang on for like a full month's of subscription, rather than, show up and turn it off.
Exactly.
Also, I think it encourages people to talk about it, though, too. When you dump it all at once,
True.
People don't talk about the show. Like, it's because everybody watches it at their own pace. When it comes out weekly, everybody's talking about every single episode because they have a whole week to talk about it. So,
oh yeah,
it's true.
I think for word of mouth, it works better.
I like it. While I like the binge aspect sometimes, I do miss the idea of having to talk about it. Like, ooh, have you seen What's His Face?
Yeah.
Yet? Are you up to date? Blah, blah, blah. Because we would talk about it at work. Now when you do it, it's like, did you see the whole thing yet? Because I don't want to talk about it till you see
I
the
don't
whole
want to
thing.
spoil it.
Yeah.
That's right.
So,
yep, that's annoying. Especially with some people, like, watch the first weekend it's out, they watch the whole thing. It's like, dear God, don't you have lives?
yeah, and I force myself not to watch the whole thing.
No, I don't like doing that because you get burned out and you don't enjoy it as much too, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Watch it. I do like.
I'll do.
What was you gonna say?
I'll do like 2 episodes.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say.
Maybe,
same thing.
Maybe 3 if I have a day off.
Or how long they are. If they're only half-hour episodes, I might do like 4. But yeah, I like doing it at my own pace, but I also like not burning out on it. So I'm kind of in between. I'm happy either way. There's so much to watch that it doesn't really matter. So
yeah.
How about you, Brian? What you up to?
Well, you actually covered a couple of mine, which was the prologue for the Witch from Mercury, which I gotta say, it was that oddly refreshing thing you don't realize of a Gundam protagonist who has like a pair of caring parents.
Yeah.
And a grandma figure. Like it's like, oh, this was missing from Gundam for so many years.
Yeah.
All of them have terrible parents.
Yeah, that's right. These people actually care about children. Wow.
And I won't say any more about what happens over the course of the episode. I will say, like, the mechs are very they kind of fit that nice niche where they're familiar but different. Like, they don't look like the RX-78 or anything like that. They don't look like traditional Gundams, but at the same time, they're not so, out of left field that you feel like you're watching a completely different show.
Yeah, it just totally doesn't take place in any of the other continuities, I don't think. It seems it's brand new, right?
I think so.
Or further in the future of one, at least. Like, it's definitely a different type of technology, it seems.
Yeah, I'm not sure, actually, now that I think about it.
I'll have to look more into it, because I thought it was... What was the latest Gundam that was just out?
Before this? It's been a while, actually.
Well, there was the Origin stuff that came out.
Count. Yeah.
No, wasn't there one on Netflix with what's his face back again? For God's sake,
Char?
Not Char.
Are you talking Gundam Unicorn? Or there's Iron-Blooded Orphans?
No, it was the one...
I know what you're talking about. I remember what it was called, but it was not in any continuity either, I don't think, was it? Maybe it was in the...
I wish I could... It was the... Who was the protagonist in Mobile Suit Zeta?
Camille?
Yes, it was... He comes back. He was... Wasn't he older in this one that was...
Was that narrative thing?
I think so.
I never got around to seeing that myself.
It was on Netflix, I think.
Yeah, no, you're right. Yeah, there was Gundam Narrative.
He was older at this point.
Yeah, I never got around to watching that one.
I never finished it. I stopped halfway through.
You and finishing things.
Well, I had to go to work, and so I was like, I gotta, maybe I'll finish it at work, and I didn't finish it at work, and then again, I never got back to finishing it.
But
I thought it was in that continuity, but I could be wrong.
This new show has nothing to do with that, I don't think.
Yeah. Narrative does continue Universal Century timeline stuff. This looks like it's something. It could be something different. I think we might just have to wait and find out. Like nothing in the episode seemed like it couldn't exist in Universal Century. I guess I'll put it that way. But yeah, so definitely check that out. Like I said, it's on Gundam Info, which is kind of the legal stream for it. Has English subtitles, and it's good. It's short and sweet, but it tells that story. Similarly, like I was saying earlier, I also watched Edge Runners for Cyberpunk there, and I'm definitely with you, Rob. Like, it was great seeing like the show take you around to those locations that you've been to in the game. All like the little sound bites and like the sound of the text messaging.
Yeah, or the phone ringing. I'm always like, calls. Answer the phone.
the interface, like the UI that the characters see is straight out of the game. Yeah. So like all that was really cool, but at the same time, it feels right at place with that Studio Trigger animation style. Like I said, if you've seen Gurren Lagann, like that's what it looks like, which
exaggerated and like
exaggerated, very anime-esque, very intense and high octane emotion stuff, ridiculous proportions, which is funny. Like you look at the game, which is a very realistic, I would say, kind of aesthetic. All characters are proportioned normally. Within reason, but the music, like there's a lot of the music right from the game, and no, it hit really well, and like you're saying, it translated to Cyberpunk 2077, like having 1 million active users for like a whole straight week. Like people came back to the game after watching this anime, which is a testament to the quality there.
Yeah.
That said, it is a fantastic show. You can watch it in its own space. Like they don't intrude upon one another.
No, there's nothing to do with the other one, other than like locations. Like say there's no like mention of any of the characters. You kind of see a couple of the characters in the background a bit, but not even like not major.
Yeah.
You don't see.
Like they'll go to the Afterlife Club and
that's right.
Stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so I won't say much more to the story, but it's one of my friends who watches, like, without hyperbole, I feel like our healthcare system is dangerously close to what's depicted in this future.
Yeah.
In the U.S. anyway. And I mean, he works in health insurance. So
yeah, a lot of the show revolves around health insurance. That is for sure.
Yeah. But so apart from that, I've continued my playthrough of Halo with my younger brother, and we're on Halo Reach now, which for those unfamiliar, Reach is like.
Are you playing with your brother online, or
yes?
Is he driving all the way from Wisconsin every weekend to play?
No, we're playing online every other weekend or so. We're just kind of going through the main campaigns mostly and having a good time remembering and replaying that stuff. But it also got me to dive into the books quite a bit. So I brushed up on some of the early novels in the series, and that's been a really fun time. I do want to give that TV show a shot. I know it's very different.
Which one? The Halo TV show?
The Halo TV show.
Oh, I stopped after the second episode.
Okay.
Yeah, but you don't finish anything, so.
No, I stopped because it made me stop, not because I had to
get
go
distracted this time.
No, I didn't get distracted. I was like, this is not what I want to see.
So I don't know if you we're at a point in the show. Do they go to a Halo?
The actual base station, Patrick?
I'm trying to think. I think they showed the Halo.
Okay.
I think they showed the Halo.
I was gonna say, like, if nothing
I think
else,
you see the Halo in the first or second episode.
Okay. I was gonna say, like, if nothing else, you've gotta have the Halo.
It is kind of in the name.
Yeah, it is in the name. I know
it's not called Master Chief.
I think it focuses more on the Covenant and human insurgents side of the war, as opposed to the Flood, which is the main antagonist that's on the Halos. But whatever. I do want to give it a shot just to
take a watch at it, and then then we can talk about it.
Brian also liked all the Starship Troopers shows, so he might find he has a tolerance towards some bad stuff.
And he loves to reference Days of Thunder, so take it with a grain of salt.
Who doesn't want to reference Days of Thunder?
Halo, Robin's racing, Master Chief.
Yeah. Harry Hogg is the sergeant. But got cold trickle painted on the side of his plane. That'll just take me over to Top Gun again. So trying to think other things that really sums it up. Like I said, I've been really busy with all the prep for the Michigan GT, so my extra time has kind of gone to that. I'm sure I'll think of something that I forgot later, but that's a good enough point.
All right, so then let's move on to the MechBay Hanger, and let's talk about something that came up in a conversation I had at work the other day.
That's
ominous.
Now entering the MechBay Hanger.
All right, welcome to the MechBay Hanger, and today's topic of discussion is Brian keeps cracking chicken bones.
I don't hear any of this, so I don't know what you're talking about, Pat.
It's either that or Rob is breaking supports off his plastic minis.
I am not.
So as I said in this last segment, this topic came up to me at work. So there was
Walked up. Yo.
So, I work in a hospital, and occasionally we get students.
I'm so excited to hear how this is going to connect to this topic. That's all.
All right, you're going to laugh.
Okay.
So, as you know, we get students from time to time in my profession, and they do their clinicals with us at the hospital, and we take them around and show them what we do, especially for us because I'm in a specialized unit. So there's this older gentleman. I'd say maybe he might be about 10 years younger than me. So roughly around your age, Rob.
Oh, God. I'm an older gentleman?
Well, come on. Well, considering that most of the students that we get are 20s, early 20s, yeah, he's on his second career too.
That's fair.
So he's in the thing. We're just kind of sitting in our break room. We're just chilling. We're just chatting away. And I'm cleaning out my backpack, and I throw some business cards on the table. I'm like, what the hell are these doing in my backpack? Get them out of here. And I toss them on the table, and they happen to be Mobile Armor Radio business cards. And he goes,
Get these
hey.
crap out of here.
He goes, hey, you like Battletech? I go, oh, you know about Battletech? And then we just started talking about Battletech.
And you told him about our podcast, right?
Of course. I gave him the card. So hopefully he signs up and listens. So Greg, if you're listening, welcome to the show.
You're now a MechBay Hanger topic for some reason, somehow.
Exactly.
This is all about you.
So then as we started about Battletech, it came to, oh, well, how did you get into Battletech? And this is where my discussion comes in. Because he never had a wargaming background like most of us do. He came in during the dark ages of Battletech, known as the Click-Tech.
Literally the dark age.
Yes, literally and figuratively.
It's on the box.
Yeah, it's on the box.
That's what I like to call it. Literally and figuratively the dark ages of Battletech, which I like to nickname Clicky-Tech.
Yeah, Mech Warrior, Dark Age. Yeah.
So, and then he was saying, and I was, I tell him how I started with cardboard standees and, games that lasted 5 days with 2 mechs. And then, of course, then I got on my clan soapbox.
Poor guy. I feel sorry for you, Greg.
I stood on a chair in the break room. I had my hand in there, and I was just wailing away at the clans. But then it dawned on me as I was thinking about this conversation on my drive home. Clicky-Tech, was it good or bad for Battletech? Or did it not do anything for Battletech? So I wanted to kind of go around and see what everyone thought, because I didn't play a lot of it myself. I did play because I had a friend who did play. So I didn't play as much as him because I think what really turned me off was the blind buys.
Mm-hmm.
The game itself I didn't hate. It's a click game. It really dumbed it down. I think why it drew me a little bit in is because it didn't take 5 days to play a game, a Battletech.
Yeah.
So then I was talking to him about it, and we were talking about Alpha Strike. Now, is Alpha Strike just like a revamped version of Clicky Tech, you think? Or
no, not at all.
Which I don't think it either.
How dare you?
we both agreed that it did not, because he's now since moved into regular Battletech. This new guy, Greg. But I don't know if I don't know if I delved enough in the Clicky Tech to say that it helped or hindered, because I do know some people were very, very turned off by Clicky Tech. And I also know people who, like Greg, who didn't know about Battletech, got into this game or the genre because of it. But I was curious to see what your guys' thoughts on it were. Did you play any Click Tech, Rob or Brian?
So, actually, it wasn't my first exposure to the Battletech universe, because I did have Mech Warriors 2 Mercenaries. But it was my first introduction to the tabletop of it. I actually still have the box set that I had gotten for it. And that said, I never really found anybody to play it with.
Oh.
So it was just kind of one of those like, oh, I've heard of Battletech. I like the looks of these mechs. I tried to teach myself how to actually play it once with the dials and everything. Didn't have a lot of staying power, but I guess obviously I kept the stuff because I think it still looks kind of cool. It was
it stuck around for a couple of years too, I would say, right?
Yeah, I think 5 years,
6 years, I think. Yeah, 2002 to 2008. So yeah.
Yeah, but the models themselves, were sturdy plastic. They came pre-painted.
Yeah, and that was another thing. I was like, oh, these are pre-painted too. And so that was like in my head, I was thinking, oh, so a miniature game that I don't have to paint, I can just put off to the side. Okay, that's good, because at that time I was way into Warhammer at that point. So all my painting time was taken up painting orcs and space marines.
Right. Yeah. And I think I was playing 40K by that point as well. But yeah, so it was just kind of like a novelty thing for me. I never really got around to playing it as a game. So that's the most I could say about the game itself, I guess.
I mean, since you've played both, what do you think? Do you think the actual rule set of Clicky Tech, or maybe the idea of the click system, may have hurt or hindered the actual, or maybe even helped with the evolution of Alpha Strike?
Was that directed towards Rob?
Or anyone.
Yeah. Well, I mean, on the one hand, so that kind of worked well for me, I would say, to even though I haven't gone very far into Battletech, either as Alpha Strike or the main game, I do think I lean towards Alpha Strike a bit more. But like I said, it kind of was a good introduction, I think, to the game for those that weren't there before or needed a lighter game. So like younger kids, I think, could get into Battletech through this game.
That's a good point.
I don't know how well that actually translated, what the through line was. But I could see it, like where you don't have any kind of graph or chart or something that you're having to keep track of. You just have this little dial and it turns. I mean, that was the core of the game. And I believe, it was measurement, if I recall correctly. So we're not on hexes because they all had round bases.
Yeah, it was measurements. But that's a good point. I mean, as the kids got older, or when Click Tech went away, did they gravitate? It could have gravitated, so it could have helped transition those kids who are now older to a more complicated version of the game.
Yeah, and I think that works. Go ahead, Rob.
Well, I was going to say, I think definitely it got the Magic the Gathering kind of crowd into it with the blind box thing. And it was the same kind of thing, whereas you're at a checkout and they have a bunch of them and you just buy them on a whim kind of thing. But yeah, that's like Alpha Strike's based on Battle Force, which is way earlier than Clicky Tech. So Alpha Strike came out after, but it was based on something before. So I don't think like you just mean the simplicity of the rules. I think it's like even more, this is way simpler. Like even Alpha Strike's more complex than Clicky Tech.
Yeah.
It's exact same as any of the Clicks games, so like all those Clicks games, like the Marvel one or, Hero Quest back in the day, like they're all
Hero Clicks.
Yeah, it was Hero Clicks, yeah.
Yeah. Like all those things it's pretty basic. Like you say, it's for kids. Like I think anybody who plays Clicky Tech or any of those games now plays as nostalgia. I don't think anybody adult would not get into this games. I don't think like it.
Yeah.
Or
I don't know if those games had lasting power.
Yeah,
Did you play it all, Rob?
Yeah. No, I never played it. I only discovered this like this was during my time where I wasn't playing many games other than role playing games. I wasn't playing any miniature games in the 2000s, so I didn't know any. I think if I was the right age at the right time, I would have been all into this. Like I was already out of Magic the Gathering and all that stuff way before this. So, but if I was into mechs at the time and there was an ability just to blind buy mechs, I would have had ridiculous amounts. As it happens, I found out about this later and went on eBay and bought thousands of mechs. So I have tons of but I bought them as like Brian said, as like mini statues almost, because they're the wrong scale. I don't know why they did the wrong scale. Why they couldn't just keep the same scale as Battletech. It makes no sense to me. They're too big. It's just
because they had taken control of Battletech at that point.
WizKids. WizKids. Well, the guy who ran FASA became WizKids. They didn't take control. It's the same guy. And then WizKids were bought out by Topps eventually.
Because they brought Crimson Skies over with them. They kept that and Battletech.
But the thing is, I don't understand why they had different scales. Like, why would you make it a different scale? Maybe it was just for the painting and stuff. You had to make it slightly bigger. But that's the one thing that really annoys me about it, because that could really brought people in by buying these things. If you wanted to play the real Battletech game with these clicky mechs, that would be, you can, but you'd have to play all with them. You couldn't mix and match. But
yeah,
that would have been kind of neat if they had like dials that you could get, like you kind of see for like X-Wing these days, where you can like it basically is like the replace the base that it's sitting on. You just set the mech inside this hex slot, and you have a little dial on it.
Sure.
But there's not much that you could use for regular Battletech or even Alpha Strike. There's not much that could be on a dial that'd be useful.
No,
true.
Because like maybe you could track your heat or something, but not even then. It would be. It's not like there's hit points on mechs like that. It's not the same as like other games.
But I think it had a heat dial, didn't it?
I don't even know what were on the dials on the MechWarrior games. The Dark Age.
I'm trying to remember. I think because you spun for your hit points, and I think there was a heat clicker that that was set on top.
No, maybe
it had like a number of numbers, but I feel like it was all on one dial.
It was. It's like a little disc that has all different.
Yeah.
I don't know what
I thought
it means.
I thought there was another.
I think some of them did have another like type of dial on it where it was like a twisty dial instead of just the spinny dial.
Yeah.
But only certain mechs had that. Maybe that was to track ammo or something. I'm not sure. I just know from what, like I said, I purchased a lot of these things. Another thing about the plastic, you guys said it was nice, hardy plastic. I can tell you, as it ages, it gets real brittle. Those minis now are very brittle. So it didn't age well. Whatever they used, and whatever, who knows, resin they used.
It was definitely cheap plastic.
Yeah, it definitely it got brittle with time. But the neat thing is they had infantry, they had vehicles, they had
elementals.
Yeah, choppers and a lot of cool stuff. Like for vehicle wise, they had a lot of neat stuff. The mechs themselves, unfortunately, it was good and bad. What they did is they kept the timeline going. So there was a dark age during the game where the the whole world kind of got reset. And so, but there was a bunch of new factions. So they had all these extra factions they had to add into the game. And a lot of your favorite factions were kind of put on the side, which I think they did on purpose, but...
I'm looking at a ClickTech now.
Yeah.
And the heat is the separate box on top of the dial.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I knew there was some... I don't think all of them had... Oh, maybe because vehicles didn't have it, but...
Well, if you're a clan, you probably didn't have that dial.
Yeah, that's right. You don't need that dial then.
Yeah, because just no need for heating.
Thing is, this game won a lot of awards, which I think was crazy too.
So I guess then, since you were out of it and I was slightly in but slightly out, what is your perception? And you think that it helped, or with the resurgence of BattleTech now?
I think it really killed off of a lot of old players, like you were saying, how it would really put off a lot of those kind of people, got pissed off at it.
Yeah, I was in and I was on the edge of that.
Yeah, like you only played because your friend played, but a lot of like older players thought, "Oh my god, this is kid stuff." Right? Why? Not realizing, kid stuff brings in more players who I'm sure a lot of players that are playing now started with ClickTech. So
yes.
So I think it's.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I think it helped a little bit, but like Brian said, it's the video games that bring people in. Like, 99% of the people who play Battletech came in from the video games. Whatever layer of video game you came in, either at original MechWarrior 2, all the way, up until now with the Battletech game, the turn-based one, and MechWarrior 5. Like, that brings people in. You see the people come in, I played this game, now I want to try the tabletop. These other things, I'm sure it helped. Like I say, with the Magic the Gathering kind of crowd who saw the booster packs and were like, "Oh, what's this? I like mechs." But how many people... there is still like groups of people playing this, but I think it's for nostalgia purposes. I don't think there's this.
I think I'd put it down, as much as I didn't enjoy it as much as other people did. I think I would mark it down as a helpful version of the game, because it did bring people in that probably would never have seen this game if it stayed the tried and true metal MIDI hex, kind of game. Because even in game stores, you didn't see it played that much, because everyone was playing 40K at the time.
Wow. That's everywhere. Always. It's either 40K or Magic, but...
Yeah, so I think... But then this Battletech Clicky Tech, I was going to keep calling it Clicky Tech, that started to show up quite a bit in the game stores, if I remember right, because I do remember going to my friend's game store, and I'm like, what is this? Why? Oh my God, now everything's a click. And, I was that old grumpy guy, like, why would they do that? Why, blah, blah. Why would WizKids take such a great IP and turn it into this and blah, blah, blah.
It did keep it alive.
Grumpy, grumble kind of a thing. Yeah. And then I played, and I was like, all right, it's not so bad.
It definitely kept the game going. Like, it kind of, if it could have died when Facet died, right?
Yes.
But it also could have died when WizKids died, because this game killed WizKids. Like, WizKids died because of this game, and Tops took them over. Like, so it's kind of funny that different levels of the games were killed off and replaced. Like, Catalyst has brought it back now, but they even Dark Age novels and stuff they're bringing back, but they never talk about the actual game. The world, since it's one continuous world, they have to acknowledge the age, but they don't have to acknowledge the game.
The game itself, yeah.
Right.
So that's one of the things that me and that student were chatting. We're like, we don't see much about the game anymore, but we still, the lore is still out there.
Yeah.
And so I think my take is that I think it did help. I don't think it hindered as much as I like to hear the old guys grumble about it.
But the thing with Battletech, unlike a lot of games, is also the rules haven't changed from the beginning to now. Like, so during the time people were playing Clicky Tech, there was tons of people playing regular Battletech still. It didn't matter. Like,
Yeah, like it's one of those things with game systems like that, where it's like you still have the original, like you can still keep playing the version of the game that you like, and hopefully whatever changes come about, hopefully it continues to evolve into something that older players and newer players can both enjoy.
Yeah, it's always the gatekeeping thing, right? When, like you said, when something becomes popular and like kidified a bit, older players get mad about it. I get mad about certain things like that, like especially with IPs like movies and stuff where I used to enjoy things and then some teen romance version comes out and ruins everything. Like that's like I think that's how you can't look at it that way. It's just whatever.
I think I do remember one of the things, now that I'm looking at some of these old click techs, one of the things that bothered me about the click tech was the size of the tanks compared to the mechs.
Oh, scale.
They were almost the same. Yeah, they were almost the same. They were the same size, if not bigger, than some of the mechs, the tanks.
Well, tanks are quite a big tonnage, but yeah. It's scale and Battletech's always been...
Yeah, they're not the same size as an Atlas.
If the tank was stood straight up, it would be as tall as the mech.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But tanks are, you could get 100-ton tanks, though. So a 100-ton tank is the same as a 100-ton mech, right? So, yeah, but the scale, like if you actually look at the size of the people or the elementals and stuff, it's still not the right scale. Like it's scale in Battletech has never been correct, so it doesn't. I can't. Other than like at least keep even now though, the Catalyst scale is different from the old classic Battletech scale too. Like if you compare the original like Plastech minis compared to now, the assault mechs look like light mechs compared to now. So the scale has always been ever changing. So I guess pretty soon the Dark Age scale is going to. The Catalyst ones are almost getting up to the size of the Dark Age scale.
I also remember one of the reasons what I went kind of hateful on Battletech Click MechWarrior, I guess. Dark Age was the actual name of the game, yeah?
Well, that was the original one. That became, it changed the name to, what's the second set? Age of Destruction.
When I did, one of the few times when I did buy a booster box, I got an aggro mech with a machine gun on it. I was like, what is this?
Yeah, there's agromechs, yep.
I went, oh my God, and that really put me over the edge.
Yeah, there's a lot of
mine has a construction one, yeah.
Oh my God, I totally forgot about that as I'm looking at some of these mechs. I went, oh my God, I put that bad memory out of my head.
And now it's back.
Now it's back. I'm like, oh God, no, this is what Battletech has come to. We're piling agromechs.
But even by the end, they stopped the blind buys too. They just did faction boxes. They realized during the making it that they were like, oh, blind buys, people are getting mad. So let's actually just put out ones with window boxes. I have one of those that has a window box that shows you what mechs are inside of it. So
yeah, because the blind buy, like in the grand scheme, I think I was reading like more often than not, the ratio of like stuff in it. You'd always have like more troops and stuff.
Yeah,
like
you couldn't get as mechs as many mechs.
Really couldn't get many mechs.
Yeah, it was definitely a mixed force, like combined arms kind of game.
Yeah,
more than Battletech is. Like,
it was definitely probably
vehicles.
I guess MechWarrior. I guess mech, the general term mech, worked interchangeable tanks. We've discussed this. So I guess if you're driving a tank, you're just as much a MechWarrior as if you're driving an Atlas.
I wouldn't say that to a MechWarrior.
Well, I understand that, but I'm just talking in general of this clicky tech era.
Yeah, it is kind of funny how because I think each blind box came with like it would come with one mech and like a couple vehicles and like a troop. Like it had a mix inside each one. Like it was, or certain ones did at least. I'm not sure.
And your mech was an aggro mech. Oh my God.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it really random. Who knows what you're getting. Especially if you wanted a certain faction, too.
Just thinking about it just brings back anger. Now I want to say it hurt. But that's just me being mad.
For quite a while, and there is a lot of different construction and aggro, and there's tons of different of those. Like I say, eventually they got away from that. I think they realized people were getting mad that they were getting that kind of stuff, so they went to actually just selling boxes of mechs that you can see what you're getting. So,
all right,
that makes sense.
What about the pre-painted stuff? Like, Clicks always get bad rap for their pre-painted stuff because it's usually painted pretty poorly. But these, you're painted pretty good. But you're not doing people again, so it's
exactly. You're just like
the amount of detail that they have to paint on. It's not. In the grand scheme, we're probably talking about like the painted bones minis you can get and stuff. Mm-hmm. Even today, like the ones that come painted or Reaper minis, I guess should say. But I mean, like with that being like, here's a big flat panel, it just has to be one color.
Yeah.
And the people were all so small that
it was just a blob of skin color. Yeah.
Yeah. So, generally speaking, the paint jobs weren't bad for what was kind of on display, you might say.
I was going to say some of these MechWarrior stuff is super expensive. Like, there's some rares and stuff that people pay a lot of money for, which is just crazy.
I'll have to take out my box and see.
Yeah, lots of money, like hundreds of dollars for some of these rare mechs.
Oh my god!
I mean, mine probably wasn't rare because it was one of the starter boxes. So
yeah, I don't know if it. Yeah, I don't think were the starter boxes random or were they just?
I think the starter box had a random rare in it.
Yeah, so there you go.
Maybe.
And so who knows?
Well, I guess the general feel is that Clicky Tech was good for Battletech in general, even though it had some.
I think it wasn't bad for it, but
yeah.
I
think we all agree that it was good and that it brought some people in that would not probably normally have been there.
Yeah, it's like anything.
I was going to say, I think one big testament would be people didn't throw out their mechs, their Battletech stuff when this came out, kind of thing. Like that would be, I think, the sign of a game that hurt its industry is if people.
It's true.
Or the different. Like when Warhammer came out with the new, or 40K came out with a new scale of Space Marine, it kind of rendered everything else useless. This was something totally different. It wasn't like this is Battletech now. This is like a different game. It's like, well, that's fine. Mm-hmm. Doesn't matter.
I'll just be over here playing the game I want.
Yeah. And that's probably why the Battletech community is so strong and so long lasting, is because they just kept playing the game they wanted to play, and then it come back around to them. Like that was the amazing part.
Yeah.
That's rare, I think, in the games industry. They have a company that like Catalyst that comes out and just embraces what was the old, right? Like they didn't try to revolutionize anything. They're just like, we're just gonna streamline it, try to put it in, because Facet came out with thousands of books. Although now it's getting to be that even Catalyst is coming out with thousands of books, so they're still in the same. But
so, all right. Well, that was a nice discussion. I do
like talking about Battletech whenever I can.
I do. And it was a nice segue from the conversation I had last week with that guy, Greg. Hopefully he's listening.
Thanks, Greg.
All right. Well, let's move on to the ExFil and wrap this thing up.
Excellent.
Let's ExFil out of here.
All right, guys. We're here at the ExFil. Another show wrapped up. Another episode done.
Woohoo!
So, Clicky Techs. Hit 'em.
Yeah, comment below. Comment on their Facebook.
Did you ever play Clicky Tech?
Yeah. Did you start with that, or we're talking to the people, Pat?
I was going to say, we just had a whole talking about it.
We're talking to the people. We're saying comment.
Actually, that's a good idea. I'd like to see how many people actually started with Clicky Tech.
Yeah. Comment
below. How many still play?
Yeah. Yeah, if you're still playing. I'm sorry I insulted you saying it was a simple game, but
if you're still playing, Brian's looking for an opponent.
I have the stuff.
So, all right. Well, for Mobile Armor Radio, guys, thank you for listening. Thanks for downloading. Thanks for commenting. Thanks for being a part of this show. I've been your host, Chopper.
I've been Brian.
Oh, now he introduces us. I'm Rob.
As we leave.
So hateful. Thanks for listening, guys.
Bye-bye.
Sayonara.
This has been Mobile Armor Radio. Join our Facebook group by searching for Mobile Armor Radio. Find us on Twitter at @MArmorRadio. Find us on iTunes and visit our website, mobilearmorradio.podbean.com. Join us on the first of every month for more Mecha discussion.